Morning, everyone. I feel like I'm getting more consistent with the uploads and the channel again. In fact, not even feel like I'm definitely doing more videos. I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to where I was doing. There was a time, believe it or not, people. If you're new to the channel, you might not know this, but there was a time when I was doing like 10 videos a week. 10 videos a week. But then I had no job, so we were able to do that. It's difficult now, but I am trying to do, my plan is to do a video every single day before I go to work. That's the plan. So I'm filming this at 8:54 before I go to work today. So yeah, I am getting a bit more consistent. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like and share the vids. Oh man, GGG is back. Gennady Golovkin. I didn't think he was fighting this year, but GGG is back. Let's have a quick look at his opponent. I mean, his announcement of his fight literally went down like nothing, right? It was like there was no big announcement. There was no like, oh, GGG's back. Nothing. I mean, I think his fight is the day before Canelo versus Smith. Why didn't DAZN just put them all in? Why didn't they treat us and just put them all on the same card? Why not just do that? Why not? Because GGG versus whoever, let's have a look at his opponent, isn't going to do no sign-ups. Let's be brutally honest. I'm a big GGG fan, but I think that ship has sailed a little bit. So why not just do it on the same card? It's a day apart, both on DAZN. Makes no sense. So he's fighting. I can't lie, I've never really heard of this guy, which doesn't mean he's not good. He's unbeaten. Camille, what's his name? Zerameta. So a quick look at his record. So this is GGG's IBF defense, by the way. So this is a mandatory fight. Okay, Camille from Poland, 31 years old, 21 fights, 5 knockouts. That's not even, look, could be a fantastic boxer, but that's not what's going to beat GGG. You need someone to dent him. His last 2 fights have been 8-rounders. He's fighting 8-rounders. His last 2 fights, this is no joke. His last 2 fights have been 8-rounders. He beat Oscar Cortez, knocked him out, fair dues, in the 2nd round. That was back in October 2019. And in July 2019, went all the way in an 8-rounder against Edwin Palacios. Before that, granted, he's had 12-rounders, but why is he still fighting 8-rounders? Literally, go and look at his record on BoxRec. This is no bullshit. So he's had 8-rounders, then he's done a couple of 12-rounders, then he's done a couple more 8-rounders, then another 8-rounder, then 8-rounder. Yeah. I mean, I don't think this is going to be the guy to put a dent in Gennady Golovkin, is it? What's left of the great man, Gennady Golovkin? Look, I've always loved him. I can't lie to you. I think there was a time, and I think we all can agree, where he was the most feared fighter on the planet. There's no, like, you can't even question it. Like, back then, so what, 5-6 years ago, it was him and Kovalev. Like, they were feared. They were feared like Manny Pacquiao was kind of feared 10 years ago. Or maybe even a bit longer for Pac-Man, I can't remember. But there was a time when it was like no one wanted to fight Pac-Man. And even the ones that did, apart from Margarito, maybe Cotto for a couple of rounds, everyone kind of like went in there to die, literally. And Gennady Golovkin had that about him, so did Kovalev. And it's a shame. Look, father time waits for no man, as they say, right? It's a shame that we didn't get to see Gennady Golovkin at peak Gennady Golovkin. So that time when he literally cut Macklin in half with that body shot, or the Golovkin that just ran through people. Like, it's a shame we didn't get to see that Golovkin fight Canelo then, or Danny Jacobs then, or Derevyanchenko then, right? He definitely fought them at the end. But look, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. Well, I kind of do. I can see what they're trying to do. So what they're trying to do, obviously they fight Zerameta, and then he fights Canelo. That's the plan. No doubt about it. That's the plan with DAZN. And DAZN would have sat down with Canelo and told him that as well prior to him fighting Callum Smith. You win this one, then it's a big money fight against GGG, providing GGG comes through with no problems and you come through with no problems in May. Maybe that might be a bit too soon, but that's kind of Canelo's date, isn't it? So that's what they're trying to do. Golovkin has had a long time out of the ring since that Derevyanchenko fight, and he needed it, right? That was the first time watching Golovkin fight where I was scared for him. Like it looks like there was a time in that fight where I thought, my God, could Golovkin get stopped here? Maybe he should have lost that fight as well. It was a very close fight. So he needed a long time out to heal, long time out. And I think it's good that COVID happened because there was some talk about him coming back around May as well. Like he was in the running for a Canelo fight. So I'm happy that he's had, or would have had by the time the fight runs around, 12 months out of the ring to heal. And, 12 months, 14 months out of the ring. And more importantly, it gives him time to work on some things with Jonathan Banks. I mean, this will be, I think, their fourth fight. They need to work on a lot. Third or fourth fight, they need to work on a lot. They really do. And they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, he's going to have to learn new tricks. Maybe not for this fight. This is the fight where you show what you've learned. But again, if we're going to try and sell us a Canelo fight, we're going to need to see something a bit different from Golovkin. I don't know if you can. By the time the Canelo fight rolls around, Golovkin will be 39. 39. Which, I don't know, I say 39. I mean, look, he's completely different from Hopkins, but Hopkins at 39 was still peak. But he obviously isn't that. He's taken a lot of punishment. What they have done, which is smart with Golovkin in the last few years, like every time he's had a tough fight, he's had an easy fight. So if you think of the first Canelo fight, the next fight was Vans. It was supposed to be Canelo again, but obviously Canelo tested positive for clenbuterol, so he got put on hold. But anyway, it was Vans after, so a soft touch. Then it was Canelo. And then after Canelo was, again, tough fight, right? Steve Rolls. Then after Steve Rolls, Derevyanchenko. And now, after another tough fight, he's fighting, obviously, Zerameta. I know it's a mandatory, but it's worked out well. So it's been tough fight, soft fight, tough fight, soft fight, tough fight. Just because he can't have tough fights back-to-back anymore. He really can't. So the idea is he looks good here, maybe gets a few rounds, brushes off the cobwebs, show that he's been working on something, which is key here, because his style of land one to take one, it worked before because he could eat punches. He could honestly, this guy could absorb punishment. He can't now. We saw it against Derevyanchenko. He can't absorb punishment. He just can't. But yeah, look, we'll see what happens with GGG. It is just disappointing that, look, GGG, arguably one of the biggest names in the sport, a year and a half, 2 years ago, a fight gets announced for him. And even if it is just a mandatory, it just, nothing, no reaction, no fanfare, nothing, right? All they mention, and I think it's worth mentioning here as well, I think this is his 21st world title fight in a row, or something like that, which is unbelievable. Not defense, obviously, because he lost against Canelo, but in a row, in terms of having world title fight after world title fight after world title fight, even though there are a couple of gimmies in there, it's still very, very impressive to be that. But it's impressive, put it that way. And I think you have to celebrate that regardless of the opposition. So look, Golovkin's back. I'm happy to see him back. And I'm guessing it will be one last fight against Canelo. And then that might be that. There was some issues in getting this fight over the line, just because Golovkin's contract with DAZN is a guaranteed $15 million a fight. He's had to take a bit of a haircut on that one. He's not getting the $15 million. I'm probably guessing he's probably, I don't know, getting 10, which is still incredible, right? For a mandatory defense against someone that we don't know, someone that I think is not going to cause GGG any problems whatsoever. I mean, that's big. And I guess, again, the idea on sending him to take a pay cut would have been Canelo in May. If Canelo gets past Callum Smith, which I think he will, but Canelo in May. So that's the GGG talk. All right, what else is there? I read somewhere, it's not on my talking list here, but I read somewhere that that Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones, sort of early pay-per-view numbers, because obviously some people buy pay-per-view in advance, you know. I buy pay-per-view, but like it's on instinct. Like literally, if I'm like home and I can't find a stream, maybe I'm like, oh, here we go, got to do it. A lot of people buy it in advance, and they're trying to say that it's broken or it's done very, very good pay-per-view numbers in advance. I guess that's just a lot of people, a lot of casuals have bought it. A lot of Mike Tyson. I don't think he sold. He sold it well in the sense of those little clips, but there's not been any press for it. It's been poor in terms of the build up, if I'm honest with you. But a lot of people are high on it. So yeah, well done to Mike and Roy. They're going to earn some good money, it seems like. Badou Jack's on that fight card as well, wasn't he? He says he's going to give all his money to charity. And then you got, is it Ryan Paul, Jake Paul, whatever, crap's on it as well. All right, let's talk some news before we wrap quickly. Let's have a look and see what we can have a good old chinwag about. All right, Carlos Takam's promoter says deal to face Tyson Fury was 98% done, then off. Yeah, we know why now, right? Finances, right? Everyone just couldn't do it, right? Struggling. Everyone is struggling, and I guess they just couldn't get the money done to pay Tyson Fury. Just couldn't get the money done, and that's a shame. So we are likely now to see Tyson Fury in March against who we don't know. But let's hope that with the government saying fans are back in, right? So 1,000 fans will be back in for AJ. Fingers crossed, AJ versus Pulev. Let's hope by the time March runs around, that 1,000 has sort of ballooned to maybe 5,000 for boxing. And then we can get some of these fights. Then we can get some. So let's hope that happens. Let's have a look at any other news that might be of interest to us. Sullivan Barrera, I forget about that. Sullivan Barrera is fighting Sergey Kovalev. Let's have a quick look and see when that fight is happening. I don't think, Kovalev should be retired, to be honest with you, but what he's doing is quite smart. He obviously, in the fight, so basically for him to agree to fight Canelo, DAZN had to offer him, I think, a 2-fight contract after that with some guarantees. So although he is washed and he's done, I think we can all agree that he's like, well, fuck it. If you're paying me guarantees, I'll fight. So Kovalev is fighting Sullivan Barrera on DAZN. I don't know. Let's have a look if there's any dates. I don't think there's. I mean, there is somewhere, but 2 seconds, people. When is this fight? I can't find a date. Sorry, peeps. This was supposed to happen a while back. No, I can't find a date, but I'm guessing it's going to be in the new year sometime. No, you know what? I need to find a date. All right, 30th of January. 30th of January. It's targeted. So not signed, but targeted for 30th of January. So that's a decent scrap for the new year. It will be a decent scrap. I expect... I don't know who I expect to win that one, actually. Because again, like Gennady Golovkin, Kovalev's had some time off now. He's had a long time off. Let's not forget, that fight against Canelo was November last year. So he's had a long time off. So we'll see. Maybe he's healed. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's been working on a few things. We'll see. Good heavyweight clash, this one. Tony Yoka. He's fighting Christian Hamer. We'll see what happens with that one. Christian Hamer obviously was supposed to fight Dave Allen, but Christian Hamer tested positive for COVID, so that fight got scrapped. So we'll see that one. Fight that I really can't wait, and the fight that's getting closer, it's next week now. Next week is Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence. It's going to be a good fight. I expect Errol Spence to win, like I think most people do, but every time I rule out Danny Garcia, he surprises me. I remember when I thought Lucas Matisse was going to ice him, and it didn't happen. Thought Amir Khan was going to beat him, didn't happen. Even the fights that he lost to Keith Thurman and Sean Porter, I thought those were going to be wider victories for Keith and Sean, didn't happen. So not ruling them out. And again, we don't know quite yet what Errol Spence is going to turn up. I expect it to be the best Errol Spence, but let's not kid ourselves. I mean, this guy nearly died in a car crash. So we'll see what Errol turns up. Billy Joe versus Martin Murray next weekend as well. There's not much interest in that, but we'll see, right? We'll see what happens. Decent scrap, but there isn't that much hype about it, is there? Teofimo Lopez says, I'm the A side against Javonte Davis, no matter what Floyd says. This A side, B side, man. Jeez. I remember seeing Devin Haney and Javonte popped up on his Insta story, and they were arguing about who made more money from their fights. Please. Let's have a look. Any more stuff? This is I don't think this fight's going to happen. I've actually said, like, in terms of a superstar fight in the future, like a big fight, it will be Errol Spence Canelo. When you think of like a big fight, but I feel like it won't happen now because Errol's still at 147, and I kind of expected Errol to maybe have had a 154 fight by now in my head. When I think of the Errol that beat Kell, 3 years ago, I expected him to maybe have been done from 147. And maybe have had the Crawford fight, for example, cleaned up and maybe be at 154 now. And Canelo to be at 160 still. Now that we've seen Canelo go to 175 and Errol still be fighting at 147, although Canelo's got to fight at 168, they basically what I'm trying to say is they fought nearly 30 pounds away from each other. So I just can't see it happen. Canelo, I don't see ever going back down to 160. And I mean, Errol's way too small to even think about having a fight at 168. So that's a super fight that I don't think is ever going to happen. Although Errol has spoken about it. Even Canelo was asked about it, and he said, if Errol comes up, then we'll see. But I just don't see that fight ever happening now. I think Errol needed to have moved up a lot quicker, and then Canelo stay at 160. But now, again, Canelo fought at 175. So that ain't happening anymore. Let's have a look and see. Michael Hunter is fighting Chauncey Welliver. Never heard of Chauncey Welliver. Good luck to Michael Hunter anyway. Let's see what he can do. Well, we know what he can do, but let's see if he can get a big fight after what he can do. Let's quickly drink this and then end. Jacobs Rosario this week. Jacobs Rosado this week. Forgot about that. Completely. I don't mind that fight at all. I mean, honestly, I don't mind that fight. I know some people are like, Rosado's getting a shot and he's lost like 100 times. I don't care. Rosado comes to fight. There's some fighters that, they've got losing records, but not losing records, that got a lot of losses on their record, but he still comes to fight, and that'll be a good scrap. It's going to be a good scrap. Look forward to seeing that one. I spoke to Sam Jones yesterday. Thank you, Sam Jones, for giving me a few minutes. And I spoke to Chantel Cameron. So slowly but surely, I'm trying to get like a boxing hour on my show, and I've been able to do it. I've been able to convince TalkSport to let me do it on the back end of my show. So my show is from 1 to 5, so it's 4 hours, which is quite long. But we do a bit of horse racing, as you got to, right? A bit of football, a bit of cricket. And now, though, I've been able to kind of get an hour, no interruptions whatsoever, of just boxing. And I've been able to, like, bring all my contacts together and get some really good people on the show. For example, last week, I got Liam Smith on to talk about Callum Smith and the fight. And obviously, he fought Canelo. And they were really impressed with me being able to get Liam Smith on. I got Sam Jones on to talk about Joe Joyce, Dubois. I've had Nick Pete from Fight Disciples, Adam Cattrall, loads of boxers, loads of female boxers. Like I spoke to Chantel Cameron yesterday, and the possibility of her fighting Katie Taylor. I've had Savannah Marshall on. So I'm trying to just build up. I'm going to get Lawrence Okoli on next week to talk about his fight coming up. So I'm trying to just build up to what I wanted it to be, which is, can have the sports that TalkSport want to talk about, but let me talk about the sport that I kind of know about a little bit. I'm not an expert at boxing, but I know enough to have a show. I'm even trying to sort out, actually I've still got a bit more news here, but I'm even trying to sort out like a woman's boxing show. Like I think that could be quite good, just because there isn't, like I was thinking yesterday, I was speaking to Chantel Cameron, for example. That's a world champion. Do you know what I mean? I spoke to Savannah Marshall, world champion. Do you know what I mean? So I'm getting these girls in to talk, and I feel like it'd be good for them to have their own show. So that's what I'm working on, a women's boxing show. All right, let's end on Eddie Hearn saying he could see one of two Fury Joshua fights landing overseas. I see both of them landing overseas personally, just because there's more money overseas. But this one shouldn't be about that, right? You can make as much as that. Like, give one to Saudi Arabia if you're going to do it. And look, I get it. They're going to be offering bucket loads of that. But give one to us. One to us at Wembley Stadium. We deserve it. Two Brits. Imagine that happening. I don't think I'll be able to forgive either fighter. I know, look, money and, they're in the ring, and I get all that. I get all that speech. But I don't think I'll be able to forgive both if two Brits fight in America and Saudi Arabia and don't fight here. You know what I mean? The biggest British fight of all time by some distance. Like, it's number one. I can't even tell you how far away it is from number two. If they don't fight over here, and it does go to Las Vegas or Madison Square Garden, and then it goes to Saudi Arabia where they build their own stadium, and they don't have that fight at Wembley. If they do not have that fight at Wembley Stadium, then I'm off the AJ bandwagon. AJ, you're hearing it? I'm off. I know you watch the channel. He does watch the channel, by the way. I'm off the bandwagon. All right, I'm on, but I'm kind of tilting off. Peace.